Hi guys, welcome to the Real Glam and Grind podcast. So I'm here doing a show and I'm here with...
Mazzi Smazzi.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So, I am a multidisciplinary artist hailing from Brooklyn, New York, but I currently reside in Los Angeles, California. I journeyed through dancing, modeling, acting, but primarily right now, and why I'm here with this lovely lady, is photography because I'm debuting my work at Art Basel with the organization Hip Hop Beauty and Gen Art.
What inspired you to go into the industry? Like, what was your first thing? Did you do photography first or produce, stuff like that? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my journey actually started right where you are. I started as a model, and I started as a model at 3 years old. I was signed to Ford Modeling Agency, and I also was on campaigns for DKNY, Sesame Street, Blue's Clues, you name it. Like, I was a child actress. So that's primarily where my journey began. But as you grow older and you get to like call out some of what you want to do, and not that modeling wasn't what I didn't want to do, but you grow and your taste develops and you really get to see more avenues in the industry, and I feel like I am a true creative. So as I journeyed through the industry, I went from modeling to dancing and now photography. But I've always had a camera my entire life. I've always kept a camera with me, whether it was a point and shoot or a digital camera, just so I know how to shoot and develop my eye and see what it is that I want to capture in people. So now that I'm doing it professionally, it's taken a world of its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how did you take breaks in between, like when you were younger? Like, how long were the breaks? Because I recently took a break too. I was like, I'm done with this. And then now I'm back. I'm like, okay, I love creating. What is a tip that you would give people that maybe like are like kind of burned out, I guess, sometimes that, I mean, as a child actress, I'm sure that you guys also go through the struggle,
Yeah, I think oftentimes we just devote ourselves to our craft and we don't make space for our personal life. And I think it's important to really have that balance and find what that looks like for you, whether it's incorporating more movement in your everyday life, whether that's going to the gym, taking a Pilates class, taking a dance class, finding things that actually fuel your soul outside of your work, because your work becomes that more fulfilling if you're actually doing things for yourself. So with me, I've taken so many breaks. Recently, I became a young mom, so I was not doing professional work for about a year, and it was hard because it was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do during this time. I don't really know who I am. Becoming a mom, you change entirely. Your mentality changes, your body changes.
How do you balance being a mom?
Have a really beautiful support system. If I didn't have a support system, things would be that much harder.
What would you say to moms that maybe want to do the industry, but they're like, oh, I'm a mom, like, it's just for my child. Like, how do you balance being a mom, but also making time for your hobbies, your passion?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would really say, bring your children to work. And if it's a 9 to 5, that's a little harder, right? But me specifically, if we're talking about creative work, you can bring your children and incorporate them on set. I had my daughter with me as a newborn on set. She was on my chest, photographing images. I was working out my taste and really like figuring out the camera, and I would bring her with me. I would take...
No excuses.
No excuses. No excuses. No excuses. Yeah.
What is like your new goal now and your vision for your...
I think to show up entirely in my artistry, really piece everything together, and I think I'm one step closer to that, like just incorporating dance and movement within my work now. But in life in general is to just be present. And being present looks like being in the moment, not thinking 20 steps ahead. Right now, I'm feeling very dropped into my reality. Like, I don't feel like I'm floating or I can't see, like I feel very grounded, and I'm like, okay, like I'm here, I'm taking it all in, and I'm appreciating it in real time, not having imposter syndrome or like, I don't know if I deserve this, I don't know if I should be here, I don't know what this is, how did I get this? No, all of that, I really want to cut that out.
And how do you deal with, I love your holding the microphone, and how do you deal with difficulties in your life as an artist? Like, how do you balance that? How do you mentally bounce back to get focused on it?
Yeah, I mean, every day is different, and And I'm human at the end of the day. There are days where I crash out. I'm not gonna lie. There are days where I crash out. There are days where I cry. I let myself feel my feelings. And I think that's very, very, very important. Most of the times, as women in the industry, we just suppress. We suppress all the time. We're just like, I'm gonna deal with this. This is what it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to look like. So I feel my feelings, and I also speak up for myself. I didn't always have this much of a voice. Like, there were moments and times where I would probably just be quiet, or I would just go cry in the corner and figure it out. But nowadays, I'm like, love me or hate me. Like, love me or hate me.
Literally the same.
Literally same.
And what are some tips that you would give someone that's starting out in the industry like you? What are the tips that, like, they're just starting out?
I think my number one tip is to build your own personal brand. Don't try to just immediately attack all of these other brands. And by attack, I mean try to like throw yourself into multiple pots at once. Build your own personal brand. Find what you like. Find your own personal style. Find your own personal look. How you do your makeup. How you wear your hair. Like, find yourself first, and then you go out and branch out and give people who you are, so that they're not trying to pick you apart and build you at the same time, you know?
I feel like that's how you find your own, like, tribe, you know? Like, right now, that's kind of like what I'm doing. I'm just talking about, like, things I love and stuff like that, and I'm finding, like, okay, I like this brand because it goes with me, so
Yeah.
you find, like, you know, your niche and stuff like that.
And
I
gotta say something for you, like the fact that, you know, you're sitting here, you have downtime right now, and you're taking advantage of the opportunity. You're building your own brand. You're really doing something very powerful. Like, I wish when I was like on these sets back in the day, I took more advantage of the content I could make, you know? So you doing this is really amazing. Congratulations to you. Yes.
Yes, this is the grind part of things, okay? Behind the scenes. Thank you so much.
Yes,
What's your
thank you.
Instagram?
Yes, we'll give you a hug first of all. And you all can find me at Mazzi Smazzi. That's MAZI SMAZI. And that's on all platforms. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's the best. I had a great time. Thank you.
You look amazing. Oh my goodness.
See that?
Yes, you look great.
Dara really hooked me up.
Yes, thank you. So,
Birthday gift, an unexpected birthday gift.
oh, it's your birthday, right? Today.
Right, today.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and starting, what is your name?
My name is Thembisa Mshaka. I'm the co-founder of Hip Hop Beauty circa 1973. I'm also an author. I wrote the definitive business guide for women in entertainment. It's called Put Your Dreams First, Handle Your Entertainment Business. I'm also a working voice actor and a screenwriter, and I'm a mother of 2.
Wow, that's impressive. I love that. So, can you tell us a little bit about, like, what inspired you to go into the industry? When was it that you started the industry?
I started in the business when I was 17 years old. I got an internship while I was in college. I'm an alumna of Legacy Mills College in Oakland, California. And I was studying for a degree in international relations and ethnic studies. I wanted to go into world politics, but I ended up getting an internship at a booking agency instead. And this was with the late Lupe de Leon, who was the manager for the late Etta James. And there were some other clients there. Willie Colon, who was one of the co-founders of Fania Records. Gil Scott-Heron, may he rest in peace. Artists like Bootsy Collins, Charles Brown, Stanley Turrentine, Shirley Horn. So blues and jazz artists. That's where I started my work before I got into hip-hop.
Okay, so you were in the music industry.
Yes, I worked as a contracts manager for the touring agents that represented recording artists. So I started out in touring. And then I became a journalist, and I started writing about hip-hop, because hip-hop is the music of my generation. And I started just writing reviews about concerts and events in the area. And from there, I ended up being appointed the first black woman and the youngest person to be the rap editor of a magazine called Gavin. And I ran the hip-hop charts for Gavin from 1993 to 1998. I put a lot of artists that people now know as being super famous on their very first covers. People like the late, great D'Angelo, may he rest in peace, the Lady of Rage, Scarface, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Common. Oh, you love Boom, 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 boom. Yes, so they got their first trade cover from me.
an honor.
Yeah, so that was a really great time to be in the hip hop industry.
How was that as a woman like back then? Because I'm pretty sure. I mean, now we like. I feel like there's a lot more women now in the industry. But how was it back then when it just kind of like started? There was a few. Like, how did that feel, being like in that world?
So I was one of very few women within the trade business for music. So there were other editors at other magazines, Shanita Williams-Elaine, Jennifer Norwood, myself, and it was just a handful of young black women at that time in the space. And that was what prompted me to write my book, was that, we needed a guide, mentorship in book form, if you will, because we're scattered all over the country, women with aspirations of being in the business, but most people who work in the industry are in LA and New York. At least that's how it was then, right? So by writing the book, I was able to sort of get the business tactics, the trials and tribulations of women in the industry onto the page so that anyone from anywhere could read it and learn from it. But I was definitely one of very few, and I felt very lonely in the business. And when you're a young woman and you have a measure of power, you're in a national position, it's definitely difficult.
And how did you deal with like the pressure of that, like as a woman?
Yeah, so you have to find your voice and set your boundaries. That's the most important thing. Because, your integrity will be sliding all over the place because people will try to pressure you into doing things that in your heart you feel are unethical or are wrong, right? So it's really important that you have your moral compass and you operate from that.
And how do you balance, how do you, for me, I'm very big on that. Like, did you see friends maybe growing up that went the other way, where they were like, oh, it's fine, I'm gonna go and do what everybody else is doing and stuff like that? What would you give an advice to the girls that are in the industry, that are coming in and maybe are being questioned? Well, I love doing this is my passion, but I have to do this, I have to do things the other way, or the way, you know what I'm saying?
Or that would what, compromise them, you think?
Compromise their integrity in order to get to where they want to get to.
I would say that in the end, you want to be able to sleep at night. You want to be able to look yourself in the mirror and not regret your choices, right? We as human beings, we are our choices. And our choices are like breadcrumbs, and they have a ripple effect, right? So one choice that you make to kind of compromise on something, or extend yourself beyond what you initially wanted to, that could potentially lead you down a road where this becomes your norm. And then you start to lose yourself and you start to forget why you're in the business in the first place. So it's really, really important to hold that moral center. And you do that by surrounding yourself with other people who have a similar moral center. Right? So I tend not to get into business with shady people. I avoid people who do dirty business. I have partnered with Ashinta Sharif. She's a 30-year veteran of the beauty industry. Together, we have Hip Hop Beauty circa 1973. We are literally leveraging our respective multi-decade, multi-careers in this business to do something positive, to elevate the photography of women in hip hop, and eventually we'll go on to the men, because there's hip hop beauty with men as well, right? But right now we want to focus on centering women and the power in the beauty aesthetic that comes from hip hop. So the reason that I can do this work with Ashinta is because she and I share similar values around integrity and the industry. So we're not gonna make the kind of choices that are gonna lead us down a road where we're gonna regret our choices down the line. Yeah, we'll learn from our mistakes, because you're always learning. And even after a 30-year career, there's a lot of stuff that I know what to avoid, and I know I can see coming, some BS like that is easy. But there are things that you learn when you're new to a certain arena.
And how do you keep yourself grounded?
Oh, so I am absolutely a woman of faith. I'm a practicing Muslim woman. I am grounded in prayer. I'm also a spiritual person, so I love meditation. I think it's very, very important to get still and to receive downloads, from my ancestors, from God, just to be able to order my steps and continue to walk in my purpose, right? So that's very important to me, but I'm also big on travel, and I love self-care in the form of spa. Like, I love to be at the beach and be in the water. I love a good long massage.
Yes, me too.
And I do things to sort of fill my creative tank, because there's a lot of output, when you're creating, and you have to put that back in somehow.
I recently got burned out, and I actually talked about this, that you have to feed your soul and your spirit, which is like what you said, like your spirituality, you have to like really, make sure that you feed your spirit. So I think that's very important as an artist or as a model, whatever it is that you do in the creative world, because I feel like the creative world is more of the soul,
Absolutely.
Right?
It absolutely is. And this is why, technology and AI have people all confused, because, creativity and art start first with a vibration. They start with an energy, right? And technology is rooted in ones and zeros. That medium is cold.
That's a really good point.
Right? So when we think about the source and the origins of creativity, the generating of an idea, it's literally described as a spark. It's energy.
My mind is like...
And then when you think about the human body, right, and that we're 80% water, we are here to receive information that's energetic. Right? So automatically it's going to be warmer, it's going to have more depth of feeling.
Okay, and how do you keep your energies up, like the vibrations? What would you recommend for maybe someone that's like on a low vibe, and what keeps it going?
So I think music and the input that you take in terms of the kinds of music you listen to, is very important. I really enjoy chakra music. I want to recommend a new album by an artist friend of mine named Jen Johns. She has a chakra album called Godspeak, Volume 1. It is a phenomenal album. It is so calming and healing, and it's her producing vocals and songs for each of the chakras of the body. So you listen to it, and by the end of it, you feel completely reborn. It's pretty amazing.
I'm actually a yoga instructor,
Oh,
so I haven't
your
done
language,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I absolutely agree. It's all about vibrations. And before this show, actually, I was meditating. I'm like, I put the windows, shut the windows down, and I put my phone on to not disturb, put a little bit of spa music, and just meditated. And I'm like, okay, I need to clear my mind
And then things
before
come
the
to
show. Right, yeah. So I can come in and have like more space for today's event, which I'm excited.
About to slay the runway.
Thank you. I'm so excited. A little nervous about the floor, but it's okay.
You're going to be fine.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask you before we leave, so how do you balance all of this, doing all of these amazing things, and also being a mother, and and being a woman, and that is just so amazing.
I mean, shout out to Mecca and Umi. Those are my kids. When they were younger, when Mecca was younger, I was a young woman in the record business. I worked at Sony Music. So sometimes he would come to work with me because I would have to be there like all hours. When you're working on a campaign and the album is about to come out, you can't take time off. So Mecca is always chiding me about how when he was younger, Beyonce and Kelly wanted to cuddle with him and hold him and run around with him.
Like Beyonce?
Yes, the Beyonce. So I was Beyonce's campaign writer.
Beyonce,
don't we all, right? We all want that. So, so Kelly and Beyonce used to be in the Sony building, when they weren't on the road or when they weren't training, when they weren't working on their craft. And they happened to be in the building one of the times that I had Mecca with me. And they both were like, they had a little sniffle. They had like colds because they had been on the road, you know, and so they were they had like cooties. I didn't want them to get Mecca sick, because if they get sick, then I got to stay home with him, and then I can't work. I'm writing the Destiny's Child campaigns.
Okay.
So Mecca now, yes, I did multiple, of course, I did multiple campaigns for Destiny's Child, starting with the Writings on the Wall, Charlie's Angels soundtrack. What else? 8 Days of Christmas. Yeah, so, and then I went on to write the Dangerously in Love campaign for Beyonce, Simply Deep for Kelly Rowland, and Heart to Yours for Michelle Williams. I love those girls. Destiny's Child are my all-time fave.
Me too.
So Mecca is always mad because he's like, you know, I could have had Beyonce and Kelly hugging me as a child, and you stopped that to keep me healthy.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, because as a mom, I'm gonna protect your health first. Like, I don't want you to get sick, right? So, you know, that's one of the sort of funny stories. But like, as a parent, it's not about, and I say this in my book, it's not about work-life balance. It's about work-life function. What can you make work? What systems can you put in place? What village support can you create so that you're able to do your work and be a good parent, be a present parent? Because honestly, the balance piece is like a myth. You can't be in two places at once.
Right.
Even if you're in one place and you're thinking about wishing you were at the soccer match, you're distracted. You're not even in the one place you're trying to be in. So when you create work-life function and you put systems in place and you have people in your life, you know, my son and daughter, you know, they had caregivers. My daughter had a nanny. So, you know, I was very much an active parent. I was taking care of and raising them, but there are also people in their lives who, when I needed to travel, I could leave them with them. Or if I had a shoot and I was going to be gone for 12 hours, I could have someone, you know, pick up and do dinner and do those types of things, right? And there shouldn't be any shame in getting that kind of help and support. So, you know, the way that I was able to do it was by having systems in place that allowed me to be fully 100% present when I was working and not be worrying about or wishing that I was with my child.
And then you would make the best out of it whenever you guys were together, like, you know.
Yeah, and it's never a thing of like trying to make up for lost time, because I'm 100% with them when I'm with them.
Right.
So we will create situations where if it's something specific that they want to do, then I'll block that time out, and then I won't work as a result, so that we can go to the museum or go to the movie or whatever it is they want to do.
What would you tell like maybe women that feel guilty for, they're like, oh well, I wasn't there for my child, or oh, like, you know, like maybe their child is like, you know, telling like, oh, you were never there for me, or something like just a guilt maybe, just in general. What would you tell them?
It's difficult. I don't want to place a judgment on any parents who have feelings about that, right? But what I will say is that you can't get that time back. Once your kid is grown, once your kid moves out of that developmental phase, whether it's being a toddler, being an infant, being an adolescent, you know, my son is 25 now, my daughter's 14. You can't get that time back. So you want to be there as much as you can so that you don't have the resentment and the feelings of guilt. And the way that you do that is you organize your life. You structure your time so that you don't feel regret. I know it sounds simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but you become more clear about it once you realize you're missing out on milestones. You know?
I feel like as a woman, like even as a person, if you have that itch to like create, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you're gonna feel bad. Like I feel like as a creative person, I just have an itch. Like if I'm not creating, I just feel just dead inside. Like I feel numb. I feel terrible. So like I think you have to balance it, like you said. But like for example, my mom was not there too much when I was growing up. She had like 2 jobs. You know, I come from an immigrant parents, and I will say it's never too late. So even if your kids grow up and you're like, okay, well fine, now I can take a little break. Now I can, you know, breathe. I think that you just have to like love them. I feel it's never too late. You know what I mean? Another question I have for you before. Okay, this is the last one.
I'm enjoying myself.
Thank you. So what would you recommend to women that are maybe like want to start the industry, that just flat, like maybe they're moms, or you know, just in general, like what would you recommend for them to do if they want to start in the industry that you're in? or do something similar like
but
you,
have children.
but have both, I would say.
All right. So in both cases, I would recommend that they read my book, Put Your Dreams First, Handle Your Entertainment Business, because you can get business tips, trials and tribulations, business tactics from over 90 different women in the industry. Beyonce's publicist, Yvette Noel-Schur, she's in the book. Michelle Ndegeocello, I interview her in the book. Monique, the comedian, she's an Oscar-winning actress, she's in the book. But there are also a lot of people who are behind the scenes. Women like Lisa Cortez, who's an award-winning filmmaker, director, producer. So that's number one. The second edition of the book is coming out next spring. You can get the ebook on Amazon now, but I would say wait for the second edition. It's coming out in February of next year. The other thing that I would recommend is that think about how you want to spend your time. We're now in an age where you can work remotely, where you can be hybrid, and then you want to create ways of working, ways for workability and for flexibility. There's never been a better time to do that. Now that we're in the gig economy, the freelance economy, the hybrid remote working economy. So get creative about how you want to make your money.
Absolutely. And one last thing, what would you recommend for a woman like myself and this podcast to make it to make it a successful podcast? What would you recommend if you were starting like a podcast kind of like this for all women?
I've been told that I need to do one because I have so much knowledge and experience, so I'm kind of looking into that, but right now it feels like one more thing to do, so I have to really make it hot for me. It has to be fun and light me up.
Like, the time has to be right.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. What would I say for you in terms of making this a successful podcast? I think it's really about having these kinds of conversations with, people that folks want to hear from, right? I also think that you want to stay on mission. Deliver on what you say you're going to do in every episode, Keep it consistent. Yeah, thank you. It was awesome to be here, an honor and a pleasure. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to put the link below of her book.
And you can follow Official Hip Hop Beauty for our exhibition here at Basel. And we're coming to New York Fashion Week in February, so we're excited about that too. So if you're in New York or if you're in the Tri-State, come see Hip Hop Beauty at Fashion Week.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
So let's see what the models are doing. Let's see. Well, first one we have here. We have a model over here eating pizza. Hi. What's your name? I love that you're eating pizza because I'm starving, but here we are. I'm kidding. I'll come back to you. Come, let's go. Cameraman, you're doing terrible. Can I do a few little questions? Well, it's for my podcast, for an all-women's podcast, but it's just like a quick little, tiny. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Saruda Lee.
What is it?
Saruda.
And you're a model?
I do part-time model, but my main job is a flight attendant.
You're a flight attendant. Oh, cool. So is it like commercial or like private?
No, it's a commercial airline, not private.
Wow. Do you do pageants or anything?
I will try to in the future, yes.
Because I'm like, you're given pageantry. Like you give like beauty queen, right? Right, Victor? Beauty queen? Beauty queen? Never mind, Victor. So where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Thailand.
Oh, wow. And you're here like in Miami only, or like you've been to like New York?
I live in Boston.
Oh, you're from Boston. Okay, so you came for Art Basel?
Yes.
Okay. Is it your first Art Basel?
Yes, this is my first time.
Oh my God, I'm excited for you. Okay, and what inspired you to become a model?
I think become a model is inspire you to keep in shape, and you can like take care of yourself, like maintain yourself. So that's how I love to being a model.
Okay. And what is your goal like with your modeling? Do you want to do like a brand, like a bikini brand, a skincare line, or anything?
I would love to do the skincare line.
Yeah, I was going to say your skin is amazing.
Yes, please. If any skincare brand looking for Asian face.
What is a tip that you would give someone that maybe is a flight attendant and wants to do modeling, but like is scared of? They're like, oh, I'm just going to stay here being a flight attendant. Or what do you?
I would say being a flight attendant is very cool job. I don't think that is only main job, but it's also is a lifestyle. and then you can travel the world, you can see the world. And when you are become a model, when you're traveling for modeling, you can use your flight benefit, or you want to visit your family overseas and everything. Flight attendant is more than a job, it's a lifestyle for me.
I love that. That's actually a really good point. Thank you so much.